What is going on out there, peeps? Alright, we need to have a talk about the dinar. You can tell those individuals who pay attention to my videos, and then those individuals who watch my videos and watch everybody else's videos, and they mix us all up. Don't do that. You got people saying, well, you said this and you said that. I said, no, I've never said that. Or if I don't go with the status quos of all these crazy wackadoodle stories, that's pretty much the same with most everything I talk about. Whether I'm talking about the NESARA, GESARA, whether I'm talking about the dinar or the Vietnam dong. Well, so-and-so said this and so said that. Okay, that's them. That's not me. We're going to talk about that because we got to squash some of these rumors and then answer a few questions. Okay, you guys know if you're thinking about buying precious metals, and you should, this squeeze is working. Keep it up. We're doing a great job. Give a consideration to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer in the United States or Puerto Rico, and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. If you are a return buyer and you spend more than $500, there's no promo code. Just spend $500 and receive a free quarter ounce of silver. That's pretty dang good. Nothing's better than free silver. You guys know I got Pimpy's Investment Chat, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here we do talk about investments such as gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, and foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. If you have any questions, just go ahead and pop them up in here. Post them. If I can't get to them, there are a lot of knowledgeable people in here, and they are, a good group of people to really ask questions. All right, we get a couple in there every now and then. It gets a little pissy, but for the most part, everybody in here is really good, easy to get along, great people. You guys know I have this alternative YouTube channel. I encourage you guys to come check it out because over here we talk about things that I can't talk about on my other YouTube channel without getting in trouble. All right. Let's talk about the Iraqi dinar because there's, once again, the thing is, I forget, we get a lot of new folks. So sometimes, you got to go through the motions again and making sure that they're just as knowledgeable as the people that's been doing this for a long time. It's only fair. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of stories, a lot of bullshit, as usual. And here I come along. And it's like I'm peeing in people's Wheaties. So let's get some of these things out of the way. I hear about them all the time. One is the lower denominations. Now, I've heard about the lower denominations. I know they exist. I know for a fact they exist, and I know for a fact they're in the bank. Nowhere out there does anybody outside of these economists who write these opinion pieces, has anybody said anything about swapping out the lower denominations for the higher denominations. Any and all articles that I've ever seen regarding that come from economists who are writing opinion pieces. We cover them from time to time. There's a couple that always come on here and they talk about what we should do with the rate change, and everybody loses their mind. I have to remind everybody, calm down, calm down. It's just a person's opinion. That's why we say whenever you see good news, don't get overly excited. Just like don't get overly down when you think you hear bad news. We pay attention to what they're saying. Yeah, no problem. But we watch what they do because that's a bigger deal. The lower denominations. The only people that ever talk about them so far is just economists with their opinions. They have been mentioned, but there's no official word anywhere out there in which they're saying that that is coming up and that's going to happen. Nowhere. There's no articles out there. There's nobody from an official capacity who said that, hey, we're going to be swapping lower denominations for higher denominations. That usually happens when we do what's called a LOP. That's when they knock the 3 zeros off the dinar, not the rate exchange, the dinar. That's devaluing the dinar. In other words, a $1 million dinar all of a sudden becomes worth 1,000 dinars because they took 3 zeros off. That's not a good thing. Lower denominations would come out if the rate change happened in which the lower denominations started to have actual value. But since the value of the Iraqi dinar is so piss poor, the lower denominations have no value. See what I'm saying? If I can go buy 1,450 Iraqi dinars for $1 US right now, well, what kind of value? In other words, in order for Iraqi dinar to equal a single US dollar in value, you have to give up 1,450 Iraqi dinars. Do you see what I'm saying? So what kind of value do you think 1 dinar has? 5 dinar, 10 dinar, 20 dinar, 25 dinar, 100 dinar, 500 dinar, 1,000 dinar. Less than $1. Less than change. See what I'm saying? So there's no reason to bring out the lower denominations until a major rate change happens or a LOP happens. So people are like, well, they're getting ready to change out the lower denominations. How are they going to do that if the exchange rate isn't good? Well, that's a good point. How are they going to do that? Who said that the rate was going to be anything super big? Right now, everything is speculation. You have these people out there, and I get it. They charge you money, and they've been charging you money for years. I get it. And they want to claim they got this special intel, and they got that intel. And I can't tell you how many of them I debunked over and over again. But it makes people feel good when they go, hey, I know this military person, or I got these codes, or I know this insider. Because then you people feel like you're getting the goods. Hey, we're getting the goods. Are you really? Are you feeling satisfied with your information that you're getting? Ask yourself what makes you feel satisfied about what you're getting. Where is the proof? This is the same thing that's going on in the whole NESARA GESARA movement. It never ceases to amaze me how the people blowing smoke up your butt, charging you money for it, are the ones with the most followers. I think it's admirable. More power to those people. You can make money that way. Who am I to complain? Some of us have real contacts. Real people who work in these industries. People with real information. The reason why I don't talk about mine is because, one, either they have no information on what it is I want to know about. Two, if they did have information on what it is I want to know about, they couldn't tell me anyways. It's illegal. So think about this. These people out there claiming to know dates and rates and all this other fun-loving stuff. Think about this, just logically. If they actually knew the information, and all of a sudden they went out there and shared it with everybody on YouTube, I would kind of imagine that some people are going to jail. There has to be some type of FEC violation. And why is that? Well, let's say you and I are friends, and you work for the bank, and you found out that your dinar dollar that's currently worth, you would have to give up 1,450 dinars for one of my US dollars. Let's say you worked at the bank and you found some truth out. You found out we're about to do a rate change. And you come over to me and you say, hey, Pimpy, check this out. We're about to change the rate on our currency. Well, what's the rate going to be? Well, right now, it takes 1,450 of our dinars to get one of US dollars. Where they're going to change it to, for every one dinar, we get 3 US dollars. Really? When's this going to happen? In about 3 days. Well, thanks, buddy. I sure appreciate the heads up. I guess I'll run down and buy some more dinars. And then I'll tell some friends, and they'll tell some friends. You see how that works? That's why these people claiming to know dates and rates are either lying or they're speculating. That's it. It's illegal for people to share that kind of information. Now, does it happen? Of course it does. You got these people, the so-called elites. They do a lot of that crap. Politicians do it with bankers. And if they get caught, nothing happens to them. But are you in that kind of power position? No. This is why nobody knows the dates and rates. It's bullshit, you guys. So be careful with that stuff. So, lower denominations, I had never seen no official announcement nowhere that lower denominations were coming out yet. I do know that for a fact they exist. I got confirmation on that, and I was allowed to share that information. But they've been there for a little while. It's just a matter of when. That's what everybody has been waiting for. When I first started getting into the Iraqi dinar, I heard all kinds of stories. Man, I was salivating. I was already counting my money before I even got it. I had houses and cars and you name it. So when I tell you guys, don't get overly excited when you hear good news or overly down when you hear bad, it comes from personal experience. Nobody knows. And the one thing that people don't talk about is, besides waiting around all day for an RI or an RV, waiting for that major announcement, there are other things that affect the currency. Those are much more easier to monitor and see. Everybody talking about this announcement that's going to come out and change the dinar, and that they claim they have some kind of codes or they have some kind of, insider information, works at the CBD bank and or works at the White House, talks to Trump and all that. No, stop, people. You see, this is why I end up being the bad guy, because I hear all these stories and I go, where are you guys hearing this crap from? I forget. I've addressed it before in videos, but a long time ago. So every now and then I got to come back since I have a lot more subscribers. So don't get caught up in those stories. So just take a step back and use common sense. If somebody actually knew the date and the rate and they shared it with somebody else, how much trouble do you suppose they'd get in if they got caught? Think about what that person who got that insider information could do. So if all of a sudden somebody out of the blue jumps up and picks up, 100, 200 million Iraqi dinars the day before the announcement, wouldn't you be like, say, buddy, that's kind of superstitious. I mean, that's kind of suspicious that you would magically be grabbing that amount of money. People would start questioning it. There'd be investigations. Come to find out, you and one of the people working the bank know each other. Boom! People are going to jail. There are laws against that. And that's why you see these people go, well, that's why I call him my insider. No, you don't have no insider. Some of you people call what? The news people over at the embassy in Iraq, in the United States, and you call that your CBI insider? Yeah, there's people out there that's done that. So I'm always weary of these people that charge people money. I tried to avoid it for the longest time. I let YouTube pay me, not you guys. So stay away from anybody that gives you a date, anybody who gives you a rate. The best anybody could do is speculate. Some people could take a more educated stab at that date and rate for the most part. Some people are just farting in the wind, hoping something sticks. Don't get caught up in that stuff. Be grounded. So having said that, does that mean that an RI or an RV won't be announced? I didn't say that. It could be announced any day. But there's no guarantees out there that that date is going to be here any day soon. That's what I'm saying. Hang tight. Let's watch what everybody's saying. We've been talking about this stuff for years. So if your person is giving you dates and rates, keep track of how many times this person said something was going to happen on a special day and you were going to get a special rate, and see how many times they keep changing the date and the rate. I don't do dates. I don't do rates. That would just be lying or misleading. I've done videos when I went in and speculated. I would say, based on this information, I can kind of make an argument of why it might be here or why it might be there. I used to read the old CBI minutes and watch the arguments go back and forth on a rate they thought would be somewhere around $1.37. And I thought to myself, well, that seems pretty logical. But that didn't mean that's what the rate was going to be. You could speculate about it all you want. I made arguments for a rate as high as $3.22, and I've made arguments for a rate as high as a nickel. It really depends on a lot of different things, and that's why we pay attention to the news, because all these things are factored in what this rate can be. There's so many stories out there about the dinar, and so many people have committed fraud using that currency that currency now has a bad name. It's got a bad rap. It's a legitimate currency. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got some restrictions. It's been devalued. But then you get people out there saying, hey, I'm going to get you a special contract rate. Does that make sense to you? Does it really? You think there's a contract rate? That some group of people are going to get a special rate more than other people for whatever reason? Does that make sense? I guess it does to some of you, because some of you believe that you're going to get some contract rate. If a bank gave groups of people different types of rates, that, again, would be a violation of the law. We're talking about banking here, people. You can't just handpick what rate each different group of people get. That's a lie. There has to be some consistency there. Like, it has to be the same rate always. The only time you might see a different rate at all is whenever you have what's called a closed shop event. That means only people in the know and very special people work out some deals amongst each other or amongst each country. And they have their own special rate. That's worked out between the governments. That's worked out between the bankers. That's worked out with private entities. We are not them. Nobody's going to get you a special contract rate. That's a lie. You go to your bank and you ask them this. See, if you want to find out, don't take my word for it. Just go to a bank and just say this. Go to a bank where they do currency exchanges. Ask to sit down with the manager. Say, look, I'm going to ask you a question. It's probably pretty silly. But is there ever a time in which a bank would give out various different exchange rates for currencies? In other words, if I had, don't use Iraqi dinar because they'll shut you down right on the spot. Just make up a thing. Say if I had a ABC country and the United States dollar, and different groups had ABC country currency as well, is there ever a reason why a bank would offer these groups different rates? And he'll probably tell you the one or two exceptions to it that you'll go, nope, that's not this case. So what makes you think you're getting a contract rate? What the hell is that? Now, see, the reason why a lot of you could get misled in this stuff, because, well, one, you don't know anything about banking. You don't know anything about finance laws. So you assume that the people who are telling you the information are legit. I get it. But sometimes you just need to take a step back and say to yourself, why would people turning in the same currency be offered different rates? What would be the benefit to the country? What would be the benefit to the bank? You see, bankers don't give a crap about you. They never did. So what do you, the real thing would be, what is in it for the bank? Because that's where this would happen, is the bank's like, well, maybe if we offer you a different rate, well, then we could get blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, maybe we could do that. But if you're thinking they're just handing out different rates because they're nice people, well, you're sadly mistaken. Just take a step back and go, what is the benefit, if any, at offering people different so-called contract rates? What contracts? What is it here? You want to find out something? If this so-called contract rate exists, right? If it's real, well, that means they must have had the idea from somewhere. In other words, this has happened before. See what I'm saying? How would anybody know about a contract rate unless it's happened before? Isn't that true? So what you should be asking the people who keep saying there's a contract rate out there, ask them one or two things. One, what is the name of that contract you're talking about? Because every form has a specific name. You should be able to look up the form and go, this is the form used whenever banks offer contract rates. They can't just go, what's the contract rate contract? Nope, 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 nope. It has an official name. Any official banking business forms have an official name. Get the name of the forms used when they offer you a contract rate. Contract is a key word. So there's got to be forms that are filled out in order for it to be a contract. What's the name of the process? If they don't know the names of the forms, there has to have an official name. It isn't just, well, the name of the process is contract rate. No, no, no. It has a very specific name. So if you can't get the names of the forms, get the name of the process itself. And then you can look up what the process is, and most likely you can see whenever there's an exception to banks offering contract rates for currencies that are different than what the posted public value is. Make sense? These types of things come across all the time. The other thing is, oh yeah, here's the other one, joy. You have to have a humanitarian project. Where, anywhere. That's the other thing. When people say that, say, okay, well, if that's the case, where is that officially announced? Where is that written that in order for you to exchange your currency that you legally bought, legally own, is a legal tender? Where does it say anywhere that you must have a humanitarian project? Where does it say that anywhere? Who put out that information? What is that person's source? Where did it come from? Now, every time I've ever asked that question, you know what the answer is? Well, you don't suppose they're just going to give that kind of money, do you? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Why wouldn't I? And if that's your answer and that's all you have, then you're just full of crap. So, where did you get that information from that you must have a humanitarian project? Where did you see that at? Where did it come from? Where is your proof? Be wary of people who say, well, we can all put our dinars together and get a special contract rate. You have to say, well, if we put it together, what do you mean? Do I have to send you my dinars? Well, yeah, they're going to be held in a trust fund. Whoa, 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 Sparky. I don't know you. You're just some dude on the YouTube. Where is my protection? You should be very wary and understand that all you have to do is a little due diligence out there. The vast majority of these people dealing with dinar have been arrested for fraud. Yeah, fraud. The vast majority of them. So ask yourself, okay, well, if I send in my dinar, what is my protection that this person is on the up and up? How do I know this person is legit? Well, they started a fund. This is the name of the fund, and the lawyer put it together. Well, how do you know the lawyer isn't in on this? Where is your protection from somebody who's just going to get up and walk away with your currency? See what I'm saying? It's like physical gold and silver. Unless you physically have it and own it, then you ain't got it. When it comes to exchanging these redemption centers, that's the other rumor I've been hearing since I've been involved with the Iraqi dinar. Well, we have redemption centers, and I've been trying to figure out exactly what a redemption center is. Now, we have heard in the so-called dinar sphere, amongst the people who do know what's going on, the words redemption program kicked around a couple of times, but nobody's been able to pinpoint it down to anything specific. We've heard stories about it, but nobody seems to know exactly what these projects are, or what these redemption centers are. What is the redemption program? You know, there's all kinds of rumors, but nobody's been able to pinpoint. Every type of research we've ever done on any type of redemption program ends up just being that a rumor that somebody started. So where did that story come from? Come on, help me out, man. You guys are spending your hard-earned money buying Iraqi dinar. You're spending your hard-earned money paying money to watch people's videos and getting letters and stuff like that. Are you getting your money's worth? Or are you just giving up your money in hopes that they're going to say something that will one day come true? You have a lot of people that used to buy the Iraqi dinar going back 10, 12, 15 years. They are so bitter after all the crap that they were misled on that they will troll people's accounts. They will go through and they will bash people, telling you this is a scam, it's a fraud, it isn't real. I've spoken to a couple of people. I get where they're coming from, man. They're like, look, man, we've been hearing these stories. Again, it has nothing to do with the currency. It has everything to do with the people they were listening to, who lied to them, who misled them, saying this date's going to happen, this rate's going to happen, this individual's going to do it, Trump's going to pull the trigger on it. You know, sure, you can make all kinds of speculation on the news, but where is the proof that this is going to happen? Now, see, when I come out and I tell you people this thing, it's for a reason. A lot of you are being misled. A lot of you are paying a lot of money for so-called intel. It's not intel. Some of these people are just flat out lying or purposely misleading. You have to ask yourself, if some of these people have been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and people are still paying them money, when the hell would these people ever write? The vast majority of these people have chosen dates and rates. So were they right? Did it happen on these dates? Some of you newbies recently been told dates and rates. Was anybody right? I believe some of these dates were in March. Did you get what you were told? There's no official announcement on the lower denominations. It's been spoken about for a long time. There's no official announcement on the LOP. A LOP has been spoken about for a long time. We are waiting for a possible announcement on a RI, is what I think it is, a reinstatement of its old rate. But there are a lot of key factors that play into that. When people try to make the parallel that it's the same as what happened in Kuwait, no, it's not. It's only similar in the fact that both currencies have been devalued due to invasions. Both countries have oil. Both countries are in the Middle East. Other than that, a lot of the similarities don't match up. This is where these people use what happened in Kuwait to mislead people into what's going on with the Iraqi dinar. Now, having said that doesn't mean it's not possible. It's possible. They could just reinstate the rate. That's what I tell people. They go, what do you think, Pimpy? I go, well, look, it's possible. That's why. I own dinar. That's why. If I didn't think it was possible, I wouldn't be holding on to it. But then there's other factors. I look out there. The economy, what's going on there, stability, employment numbers, GDP growth. Foreign reserves being built up, gold reserves being built up. All these things contribute to the growth of the value of a currency. I also told you, look, at any day, man, this US dollar, although they're trying to pump it up and they keep trying, eventually it's just going to drop. So you see, it's not just, you don't have to just wait for an RI or an RV announcement. If the US dollar crashes, other currencies are going to go up in value against it. Now, my concern is, if I'm not mistaken, the Iraqi dinar is pegged to the US dollar. And this would not be good. So some of you out there probably know the answer. You'll let me know in the comments. Is the Iraqi dinar still pegged to the US dollar? And for those who don't know what that means, it means when the US dollar goes up and down, so does the Iraqi dinar. There's a danger to being pegged to another person's currency. That is when your currency actually should be going up in value, but the currency you're pegging to is dropping in value, so it affects the value of your currency. You need to unpeg from it. So just be careful about the news that you're getting out there. There's no proof that you need a redemption center. There's no proof that you need some humanitarian project. There's no proof yet that the lower denoms are coming out. They exist. There's no 800 numbers. Good Lord, I've been hearing about that for the longest time. Why do you need a special 800 number? Let me guess. So you could contact them and get your appointment for a special rate. Isn't that what it is? So again, what are we looking for? If there's a contract rate, that is a procedure that a bank does. What is the name of that procedure? What is the official name? Second of all, what forms are being used? See, a couple little questions. People can't answer that. They're just blowing smoke up your butt. So I got a hold of my bank, and I bank at Wells Fargo. And I'm going to tell you exactly what my manager said about exchange in Iraqi dinar. So when I first got there, I said, hey, look, what if a time came and something happened and the rate changed on the Iraqi dinar, what do I do? He said, well, that's a good question. I'm glad he came to me. He said, one, I got to first tell you up front and first and foremost, currently, Wells Fargo does not buy, sell, or trade the Iraqi dinar. I said, okay. He said, but let's just say for the sake of what you're asking me, there's no restrictions on the currency. I said, okay. He says, and the rate change happens like the way you think it's going to be. Let's just use round numbers, he said. Let's say it's $3 for every 1 dinar. I said, okay. He says, all you got to do is come into the bank, get my attention, tell me you're here to, I'm going to guess, exchange a pretty decent amount of dinar for US dollars. He said 2 things you need to know. One is, if you have a lot of dinar and you do get a pretty big payday, obviously you're not going to walk out the bank with all that money. Banks only hold X amount of dollars. If you got something like 10, 20, $30 million, the bank doesn't hold that much money. We have to order the money so that you can get it and walk out of here with it physically. Some states don't allow you to do that. He said, what will happen is you'll come in, you'll say, hey, this is how many dinars I have. We will go validate that they're legit. There's ways to do it. Check the watermarks in the whole 9 yards. He'll come back and say, this is how many dinars. We agree with you. And this is the U.S. exchange value of that dinar. We agree. You pay the fee that the bank asked for. You shake your head. Yep. We sign papers. And I deposit it into your bank account. He said, obviously, you would have access to it right then and there. So you could do digital banking, but you couldn't physically walk out the door with a lot of money if indeed you got millions, because the bank doesn't hold it. Now, if the bank does have millions of dollars, I'm sure they'll let you walk out the door with 1 or 2 after you sign a bunch of paperwork. So simply put, he said, once whatever restrictions are on the currency are lifted, once a rate change is announced, once I'm happy with that rate, I can take my dinar into the bank. As long as there's no restrictions and the bank's got the green light to go ahead and accept the currency, I would tell them how much I have. They would validate it. They would make sure the bills are real and not counterfeited. There's a machine, I believe it's called the LBRY machine or whatever. And there's other ways they do this. And after they go through and they validate that all of them are legit bills, he'll come back and say, this is the current rate. This is what you have. This is what the fees are. This is what you would get. We all good? We're all good. We make that exchange happen. They take their fees. My money goes directly into my bank account. I asked him, is there any forms that I need to fill out? He said, nope. I said, is there anything I need to do? He said, nope. We just deposit it straight into your account. One currency for another. That's all it is. You're depositing the money into the bank. There's no forms. That's what my bank manager said. There's no redemption, no 800 number, no secret backroom deals, none of that. And for the record, I did ask my bank manager, is there such a thing as negotiating a bank rate on currencies? He said, on currencies? I said, yeah. He said, no, that's ridiculous. There's an official announcement around the world on the value of currencies. There's a market for it called the Forex. I said, yeah. Yeah, you have to stick to that number. Unless what? Unless you have some type of special arrangement between 2 banks or 2 countries. Don't take my word for it. Go into your bank. The major banks are who you're going to want to talk to. Chase Bank, Wells Fargo Bank. As soon as you say Iraqi dinar, they're going to shut you down. So just find out if your bank deals with foreign currency exchanges. If they say yes, say I have a question. Just don't say it's the dinar. Just say is there such a thing as, and I'm sure as soon as you say this question, you're going to know because it's usually related to the dinar. Is there such a thing as getting the negotiated contract rate for your currency? And listen to what they say to you. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, why would that happen? Why would one group of people get a special rate and everybody else gets something different? Do you understand what kind of laws that breaks? I mean, seriously. There's no 800 numbers. There's no redemption centers. There's no contract rates. There's no humanitarian projects. Nobody has any proof whatsoever that these things need to happen. Now, you could set yourself up in a way through an LLC to help reduce the amount of taxes you might pay if they consider it a capital gains, because there is capital gains on there. I did a video explaining and showed you right off the tax website, the IRS website, what they consider capital gains. If you gain more than $500 on a currency swap, so in other words, if I went for some reason, I swapped 1,000 US dollars for my Mexican pesos, and while I was down there in Mexico, an emergency happened, and I didn't spend any of my pesos, but meanwhile I was down there, all of a sudden a rate change happens, and when I come back, well, lo and behold, man, I gave $1,000 for all these coins, or for all these pesos, but now I'm getting back, $1,700. Man, I just gained $700 real quick in a day. I'm just using that up as a story. They're going to go, yeah, it's pretty good, but you gained more than $500 of value. Therefore, you got capital gains there, son. Okay, you got to fill out a form. You got to pay taxes on it. But don't listen to what other people say. Go out there and do the research. I did it. But you guys, just be careful. Again, once again, we're in that situation, just like with the whole NESARA, GESARA. You see, I understand there are other people out there that talk about the dinar. I get that. I get that other people out there tell you all kinds of stories. I get that. But a lot of people start mixing each other up. They're like, well, didn't you say this? No, I didn't. I don't do dates. I don't do rates. I don't blow smoke up people's butts by misleading them. I don't charge them money. I just bring you the information that I come across, share it with you. It's up to you what you want to do with it. I'll give you my opinion on where I think it's going. And again, having said that, is it possible that they would reinstate the rate of $3.22 like they had before? In other words, every one dinar, you get back $3.22 US dollars. Yeah, of course it's possible. It's very possible. There are a lot of factors involved in it. Because I don't want people going, well, Pimpy said it's not going to happen. I didn't say it was not going to happen. That's not what I said. People do that all the time, putting words in my mouth. I said it's possible, but what I'm saying to you is be careful of all the people with their wild, willy-nilly stories out there, you guys. Be careful, because a lot of you guys are paying money for that crap. And if you want to pay somebody money to tell you stories, well, I'll start a whole new channel and charge you guys, and I'll tell you all kinds of cool stories. All right? I make money off YouTube, not you guys. Well, that's when my channel is not demonetized. My thing is, a lot of times, newbies hear these stories, they get excited, they already see riches beyond reality. They're like, my Lord, man, I am $137 million after I swap. I'm like, whoa, Sparky, don't count your biscuits before they cooked. Wait till you actually see that deposit in your account before you get that excited. Because what'll happen is you'll spend that money before it even gets in your account. And if it don't happen, guess what? You're going to be depressed. I know. I'm speaking from personal experience. I've told this story before. I'll say it again real quick. I work for a company called Cabalage & Associates. Had a kick-ass boss. We used to go out and arbitrate debt. Sometimes we come across business deals in which one of our clients has something that they either want or want to get rid of, that they want to sell, that we know would fit another client. So it could be a production, it could be a company they want to sell, it could be other assets. So we put the two parties together. Well, I came up with two entities where one wanted to buy the other one. And so I talked the other company into selling. My commission at the time, $110 million. Yeah. Now, I've seen people do this before, and I was grounded. I knew the rules. Don't count the money before you get it. Anything could go wrong. The whole Murphy's Law. We got down to where we filled out the contracts. The next day, we're going to sign them. Both parties have reviewed the contracts. They agreed on the contracts. Everything was ready. The next day, we'd sign it. Now, being that close to this deal being done, you would think, oh, I can afford a little bit of excitement. Nope. No. Not in a little. I had already seen myself in Vegas, new houses, cars. I had spent that money faster than I made it. Next day, I was walking around with the pep in my step. I absolutely knew my life was about to change. Whole new attitude. My boss even got me pumped up the night before, going, well, congratulations. It looks like your deal's going to come through. I was like, whoa. We get there. They're sitting on one end of the table. We're sitting on the other. My knees bouncing away. I'm smiling. Everybody's smiling. We're all smiling. Then all of a sudden, lawyers on the other side aren't smiling no more. He says the wording in the contract has been changed. I said, no way. We sat here last night together. We went over the contracts. We all agreed in principle. This is the contract. He said, no, these words have been added. The deal's no good. They walked away from the deal. I was like, what the hell just happened? I told my boss, Marty, what just happened? Oh, man, I was furious. My boss was running down the hallway trying to salvage the deal. I'm talking to our big lawyer. I was like, Sid, man, what happened? Is it true? Were words changed? He said, hold on, Lee. I said, no, do you understand that $110 million just walked out the door? My life was about to change. He says, calm down. We're going to find out what's going on. Marty came back. People didn't come with him. He sat down at the table. We sat there quietly. I'm like thinking in my head, one of these mother effers better answer my question here real soon. I'm about to get postal. I looked at the big dog. I said, Marty, did the words get changed on the contract? He said, yeah, it did. I was like, what happened? My boss admitted it. He said, I'm sorry. We tried to be sneaky, and we got caught. I was supposed to just accept that. You understand that? Then my boss was like, oh, sorry, bud. I know you had a $110 million commission coming your way, but yeah, wow, we got caught trying to be sneaky. The amount of depression I went to for the next couple of weeks was unbearable. I couldn't even go to work. I couldn't function. I couldn't think straight. In my mind, I probably murdered my boss at least 257,000 different ways. I kept thinking about how can I salvage it? Is it even salvageable? I even made phone calls. No. I was that close. And something that had nothing to do with me changed my life. So you see, when I tell you, I know from personal experience to be very careful not to get overly excited about the good news and not get overly down about the bad news. Hell, I've done it playing around with the dinar. When I was first trying to analyze it, there's all kinds of things I saw, things that were said. When you put them in proper context, it wasn't quite the way I had interpreted them, what the bank was saying. So it's a good thing I read these things over and over and over instead of just jumping on a video going, hey, and then having to come back and make a correction. Hang tight. Have faith, people. there's a couple other things that are already well on their way when it comes to Iraqi dinar. One is you can look forward to the crashing of the US dollar. Keep in mind, when it loses its value, other currencies go up in that same value. So in other words, if it goes down 20%, the currencies will go up 20%. I'm just oversimplifying it, but you get the point. Where there'll be an RI announced, it's still possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's very possible. But these people swearing up and down that they know the legit date and rate, and that they talk to people who tell them, or there's some back screen numbers. No. The other ones are, I spoke to God, and God put it on me, this date, this rate, and I've heard it all before, you guys. This is the come get grounded. There's nothing wrong with having a little hopium, but we don't want the wrong kind of hopium. I'm sure right now there's a lot of people out there being pissy. What the hell's Pimpy know he's talking about? You don't know. I'm going to believe somebody that charges me $20 a month that swears they got intel. Pimpy don't got no intel. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this. I'm probably the only one who has legitimate insider person. The thing is, they can't tell me anything. Either they don't know anything, there's nothing to say, or they know the answer, but because it's illegal, they can't share it with me. Do you see what I'm saying? And you said, well, people out there going, well, no, that doesn't mean that's not intel. They should be able to share with you. No, they don't. It's illegal. That would be like insider trading. Somebody telling you ahead of time what's going to happen to a stock before it happens. We see it happen all the time with our politicians. Nancy Pelosi, what she did recently. Or that lady who owns the Wall Street. Good Lord, she sat on a committee that they said they're going to close down the economy. She went and sold all kinds of stock so she didn't take a hit. They get away with that crap. We don't. So just use common sense. Now, again, don't get overly hyped with good news, and don't take this as bad news. I'm just saying to you, you should have known better. We'll watch the news when the announcement comes. Everybody will forget that they're pissy. Everybody forget that they're fighting with one another on YouTube. How Jeff will be friends with everybody then. Okay? Just so you know. Somebody said, Jeff's going crazy on cause gurus. I go, yeah, well, Jeff does that. From time to time. He doesn't like what they're saying. It's his opinion. If he wants to air out on people, let him air out. Me and him go back and forth. I like teasing every now and then Jeff and giving him a hard time. He gets pissy about it. That's okay. It's just something we do. Everybody wants to be that one who gets it right. Everybody wants to be that one who said, see, I told you so. And the funny thing is, you're going to get a lot of people saying, hey, remember that time I said this? Wasn't I right? And you're like, dude, you said all kinds of crap. There's no way of knowing when you said that. If you're throwing that crap against the wall, something's bound to stick. If I say every day, today's the day, they're going to call it RI, and I keep saying it every single day, eventually one day I'll be right, wouldn't I? See what I'm saying? Take a look at people's track records. If you're paying for it, I would think twice about it. That's just my opinion. Just because somebody is very popular, or somebody has been around for a long time, or somebody claims to have this military connection with digits and stuff and whatever, doesn't mean they're telling the truth. Doesn't mean they're lying, but doesn't mean they're telling the truth. Just be grounded. That's all I'm saying to you. Listen to what they have to say. Digest it. Use discernment. Figure out what's bullshit, what's not. But don't get misled. Okay? That's it. That's all I wanted to share when it came to the dinar with you guys, because I've been hearing all kinds of stories like lower denominations and contracted rates. Oh, good Lord. Here we go again. Be careful with those, you guys. All right? All right, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And Pimpy sure the hell does appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.